Hi, I'm Justin Gosman, the host of Suede Reviews, and welcome back to day 3 of 6 days, 60 albums. By the end of the day, we'll be halfway through the RCA Albums Collection box set from Sony Legacy. We're going through all the albums that Elvis recorded in his lifetime, and I actually have gone through and re-listened to all of these albums. On the channel here, you can see the previous 20 before this, so today we'll start off with number 21, the soundtrack to Roustabout. Roustabout came out in 1964, and I'll get to it in the movie reviews. But as far as the soundtrack is concerned, it's actually a pretty good soundtrack. There are a few songs that are actually kind of standout tracks for me. In particular, Little Egypt is one, and Elvis actually, it was originally done by the Coasters, a black R&B group in the 50s, and it was written for them as opposed to being written for Elvis. It wasn't written for the movie, unlike some of the other songs, like It's Carnival Time in Carney Town, and Wheels on My Heels. So that one stands out as actually quite a bit better quality-wise. Jerry Lieber and Mike Stoller never actually worked with Elvis again, but he kept returning to their material throughout the rest of his career. Not just songs like Jailhouse Rock, but he kept coming back to songs like Little Egypt, and they returned to that in 1968. On the comeback special, but the first version of Little Egypt is on this. Overall, this one is actually, especially considering the last one that we just had, this is actually a pretty good album. And I'll jump ahead of myself here, but I do actually like the movie quite a bit. It was one of the first Elvis movies that I ever saw, and it's actually The songs fit well mostly into the plot. Not so much as like Viva Las Vegas, which is more of like a traditional movie musical, but for the most part, the intros and outros to the songs in the dialogue actually make sense, or their placement in the movie makes sense. You couldn't necessarily just put any old song in there. There are a few that you could, but where they are actually enhances, One Track Heart, I believe is the song that he does when he's riding on the motorcycle, and it actually works pretty well. It's not a standout soundtrack. I think that with what we know now in retrospect, with the alternate title track, which appears later on in the box set, that actually might have done quite a bit for Elvis in 1964, because the Beatles had just come overseas. And honestly, the title track to Roustabout is just kind of okay. It's not a bad song. I liked it better, coincidentally, in the stage show, All Shook Up, the musical that came out 10 years ago or something. The arrangement in that made it sound so much cooler than it actually is on this one in the film. Overall, the songs aren't badly written. Like I said, the standout track is definitely Little Egypt, because it's from a higher caliber couple of songwriters. Another one that I really like is Big Love, Big Heartache. It's kind of a ballad, kind of just a nice, pretty song, but it's very well performed. That's really all I have to say about Roustabout. It's okay, with just a couple standout tracks, and that as we go along through these movies, that's going to kind of become a theme, where the music is just okay, but and there are like one or two gems, that's definitely the case with Roustabout. All right, moving along.